Goldberg. We have more news when it comes to Goldberg in WWE. Now, everyone knew it was coming. Everyone knew it was coming after the appearance shall we say, the WWE Thunderdome Friday night and SmackDown. It got the rumour mill going, didn't it? What's happening with Goldberg? Why is Goldberg appearing on WWE TV? Now, I must say one thing. This is really important, I think, because when I did a video on Friday once the news broke that Goldberg was going to be joining the Thunderdome, and that was his words. I'm joining the Thunderdome tonight for the season premiere of SmackDown on Fox. That was the news. And I saw so many people just misinterpret that. And it's interesting how news and all of this stuff gets so misconstrued, because the way that I took it when he posted that saying, I'm joining the WWE Thunderdome tonight for SmackDown on Fox, the way I took it was, okay, Goldberg's going to be on the LED screens. He's going to be in the virtual crowd. He's going to be there. You might see Goldberg during a match, during a segment, particularly the Roman Reigns Braun Strowman segment, which is exactly what happened. That's exactly what we saw on SmackDown on Friday nights. But I saw so many different websites and social media accounts saying, Goldberg, he's inside the Thunderdome. He's going to be on SmackDown tonight. And I almost started to doubt myself when I saw that, because I went, no, that's not what I read into it at all, because there were so many other Hall of Famers, WWE legends that saying, I'm joining the Thunderdome tonight. Ric Flair, Mark Henry, Jeff Jarrett, all of those guys said that. And none of them said, I'm going to be actually in the Thunderdome. So the rumor went really into overdrive to the nth degree that I thought was a little bit unnecessary. But the point being that when everyone was saying this means that Goldberg is being featured into WWE plans soon, or they plan to do something again with Goldberg, that's the case. And I think those worries are kind of justified now, because it's being reported. It was first reported by Inside the Ropes exclusively that there are tentative plans when it comes to Goldberg in the future when it comes to WWE. Now, we know that Goldberg's contract in WWE at the moment permits him to wrestle twice a year. And this has already happened for Goldberg in 2020. He's already wrestled twice this year. He's publicly stated, it was a couple of months ago, that his WWE contract stipulates him to compete twice a year, and he's already done that. He first won the Universal Championship at Super Showdown in February against The Fiend Bray Wyatt, which, can we just forget about that and not talk about it anymore, please? I think the less said about it, the better, quite frankly. And then obviously his second match of the year was a couple of months later in April, or technically in March, where it was taped in March, aired in April, against Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 36, where he dropped the Universal Championship to the Monster Among Men. Now, I think a lot of people, myself included, thought, well, given that 2020 is the year of the pandemic, unfortunately, due to budget cuts, due to the expensive price tag of having a Goldberg under contract and performing for WWE, let alone, forget the actual match quality side of things, forget the actual quality inside the ring. I think everyone thought that Goldberg appearing inside of a WWE ring in 2020 wasn't going to happen. And that is partially true, I guess, even though it looks like he is going to carry on wrestling in 2021, because Friday night on SmackDown, Goldberg appeared on the LED board in the WWE Thunderdome to watch the Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman Universal Championship match on SmackDown. Now, the story that they're trying to set out here is clear for everyone to see. Of course, Braun Strowman was the guy that defeated Goldberg at WrestleMania 36 for the Universal Championship, but it was originally meant to be Goldberg versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. It was originally meant for Roman Reigns to defeat Goldberg for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania, and we were going to then see this newer, darker, different version, more edgier version of Roman Reigns. That didn't happen, obviously, because Roman Reigns didn't feel comfortable performing at the time during the first initial outbreak of the pandemic back in March and April, which he was absolutely correct. I mean, the reports we've seen from the Thunderdome, from the WWE Performance Center at that period of time are just horrific, absolutely horrific. So I think he was absolutely right. But according to Inside the Ropes, as I said, this report comes from Inside the Ropes. According to Inside the Ropes, WWE sources have told them that Goldberg's return on Friday on SmackDown was intended to give a boost in the ratings for its season premiere episode on Fox, even though how can WWE ever have a season finale or a season premiere when they're on TV 52 weeks of the year? I don't know. That's just one of those WWE logics, I guess. But it was an attempt to boost ratings for the season premiere. Unfortunately, that didn't work. But it was also, that was one part of it, but it was also meant to put some wheels in motion for a Royal Rumble / WrestleMania season match. Now, it doesn't state, this report, as to who Goldberg's expected to be facing during either the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania or even a potential Saudi Arabia show. I doubt that will happen in February, but WWE, you never know of these things. The world, you never know of these things. But it suggests that Goldberg is going to factor into the future of either Roman Reigns or either Braun Strowman come 2021. So I think a lot of people, I can already hear it now, are groaning at the thought of, Goldberg's going to be coming back and facing either Braun Strowman or Roman Reigns. I don't know if really we would be seeing Goldberg versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. For me, I feel like if they're going to do that match, and it would appear that maybe Vince McMahon has his heart set on doing that match, considering that it was set up for WrestleMania, I would assume that's going to be the Royal Rumble. Again, I don't know. I don't think really anyone wants to see it. I think people, to be honest, didn't really want to see it at WrestleMania 36, let alone a year after the fact. I don't think anyone wanted to see it anyway. I think it then raises concerns of, are we going to see Goldberg squash Roman Reigns? I mean, it feels like every time there's a character that gets a bit of momentum, something that we like to see, that we like to watch, The Fiend, it's questionable how hot The Fiend was in February, but he certainly was a character that a lot of people were invested in, interested in. It was new, it was unique, it still is. And I mean, I'm quite thankful that the character has been seemingly able to recover from it. I say seemingly, he's on Raw now and he's doing great work in this storyline with Alexa Bliss, but that could have stopped him. That could have absolutely stopped him and killed the momentum. Luckily, he was penned in to wrestle John Cena at WrestleMania 36 anyway, but that whole debacle in Saudi Arabia in February shouldn't be forgotten about. I know I mentioned earlier on in the video I don't want to talk about it anymore, but that could have been devastating. That could have been absolutely devastating. So people don't want to see the same thing happen or the same thing repeat itself when it comes to Roman Reigns, either in January or either in April. Now, if it happens at WrestleMania 37 in April, there's no way that Goldberg's beating Roman Reigns. That isn't going to happen. I think the concern there will be if Goldberg faces Roman Reigns in January, then WWE, historically, they might be looking to set something up for April, whether it is a Goldberg shock win over the tribal chief in January, and then Roman Reigns gets his revenge at WrestleMania. But no one wants to see that storyline. I think the only thing people would want to see maybe here is that Roman Reigns does what he was going to do at WrestleMania anyway, and that's destroy Goldberg in a couple of minutes. That's exactly what Braun Strowman did. So where's the value when it comes to Goldberg now? I know people will say his name, but in terms of this undefeated, unbeatable monster, he's been defeated multiple times now in this WWE run, whether it's by Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, or Braun Strowman at this point. So where's the value here? Where's the value? And, at this time of the year, around Halloween time, November time, usually there would be the Saudi Arabia show. That isn't happening, of course, this year for obvious reasons. But this would be the time of the year that Goldberg would potentially come back for. Obviously, it's not happening this year because of the pandemic. So it's interesting that they're bringing Goldberg back just for even an appearance on an LED board anyway. So it says, given that this is Goldberg's sort of third appearance of the year, that something is coming soon. Now, personally, I don't think, you might be wrong, but I don't think they'll do anything for Survivor Series. I don't think WWE is thinking that much of 2020 right now. This year has been so crazy that it's almost a bit of a write-off anyway, I feel. I think, as the report states, that Goldberg came back Friday night on SmackDown, even in just a virtual form, to set something up for 2021. Whether that is the Royal Rumble, whether that is WrestleMania. I would suspect more likely WrestleMania. We'll have to wait and see. Now, I mentioned about the ratings. Goldberg coming back for the ratings ploy, that didn't work either. That really didn't work either, because the overnight viewership for SmackDown was 1.987 million, which is down. Recent months, really ever since WWE started running those Thunderdome shows for SmackDown on Fox, they've been pretty much above 2 million every single time. Now, for some reason, ratings is a very emotive subject when it comes to wrestling fans. I'm never really sure why. I think it's because ratings are a bit like statistics in that they can be manipulated to fit a narrative or fit an agenda, whether it is for AEW, whether it is for Raw, whether it is for SmackDown. Raw ratings down, SmackDown ratings are down, AEW, they're doing well. When it comes to ratings, they can be manipulated, but they are worth talking about because there is a story there to tell. The numbers in certain circumstances don't lie, but they can be manipulated. Now, as I mentioned, when it comes to ratings for SmackDown, ever since WWE started doing these Thunderdome shows back in the summer, they've been basically above 2 million. Now, I think if you cast your mind back to the first SmackDown show on Fox that did nearly 4 million viewers, live viewers, so let alone the DVR viewers, it's very interesting that a year later on the season premiere episode, they couldn't even do 2. Now, there's obviously a lot of extenuating circumstances and factors when it comes to that, let alone the pandemic, let alone people cutting the cord when it comes to cable and network TV, whether it comes to the product, whether it comes to having no fans. Obviously, there's a lot to digest there, but ultimately, WWE have lost nearly 2 million live viewers. Where did they go? And this dip in viewership was happening before the pandemic. They were on about 2.5 million viewers. Now they're just under 2. So through the pandemic, they've lost 500,000 viewers. That is a rapid decline, but even prior to the pandemic, where's the 1.5 million live viewers that you had for the premiere? It does raise the question, and when it comes to WWE ratings, I always say this when it comes to viewership with WWE is, this year is almost a bit of an anomaly because of the pandemic and because of all the other circumstances. Ratings have been going down for years anyway. And it does play into the fact that people don't consume TV and entertainment in the same way. It does go into that people do on-demand streaming, and people do unfortunately have illegal live streams and they watch it on demand and they do it on a different time scale. And all of that sort of stuff does play into it. But I think the interesting thing is that there is almost this stubbornness when it comes to WWE to embrace that and have that conversation about that. So I think moving back to Goldberg, I've gone on a bit of a tangent there, but going back to Goldberg, this idea that just having Goldberg in virtual form on the LED screens inside the WWE Thunderdome would bring ratings in, didn't work. It didn't work, so surely that factors in somehow as well when it comes to bringing him in for a match. That draw that you thought of just having Goldberg in the Thunderdome on the virtual screens, that would work. Didn't work then. So if you're going to have him in a match against Roman Reigns, is that going to boost ratings? I think the ratings would boost anyway because it's Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season whenever he comes back anyway. Could you attest that to Goldberg? I don't think so. Now, interestingly, going back to this report by Inside the Ropes, I found this ending sort of couple of paragraphs very interesting. It also said, we're also told, quote, Vince McMahon couldn't care less what anyone thinks about him using Goldberg, end quote. And the head honcho still believes that there is value in the Goldberg name. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating when it comes to Vince McMahon's opinion of Goldberg, because for so many years, after that disastrous WWE run from 2003-2004 with Goldberg, Vince McMahon hated Goldberg, hated him. Even at the time where WWE was trying to recruit Mike Goldberg from the UFC to be their lead commentator to replace JR on Monday Night Raw in 2005, he even wanted to change Mike Goldberg's last name because he didn't want the name Goldberg on WWE TV because he hated Goldberg. That's how intense their hatred was there, and now it's to the point that Goldberg is 53 years old, he still can't work, he still calls himself green. Every time he's in the ring recently, you feel like someone's going to be seriously hurt, and that was the case in the late 90s, let alone in 2020. You've got The Undertaker nearly being dropped on his head, you've got The Fiend nearly being dropped on his head, you've got a forgetful match against Braun Strowman at WrestleMania, obviously again, circumstances there, but where is the value? And it comes down to Vince McMahon's stubbornness once again. There's still value in the name. Is there? Is there though? Because the value in the name isn't in the ring, and the ratings on Friday prove that maybe the value isn't there in the ratings because it didn't see a boost. And now I know Goldberg wasn't heavily advertised for the show, and I know Goldberg didn't actually physically appear on the show, but there is no... You're in an entertainment business. You're meant to satisfy the demand of the audience. There is nobody that I'm aware of in the audience that's saying, I really want to see Goldberg Roman Reigns. Oh, I feel like I really missed out. I really missed out on Goldberg Roman Reigns. I really wanted to see it, and I didn't get to see it. Oh, this damn pandemic. No one said that. No one said that. Everyone went, well, if anything, dodged a bullet there. Okay, because it doesn't matter. The demand isn't there. The demand was there to see Goldberg Brock Lesnar in 2016. I think the demand partially was there in 2016 to see Goldberg come back, have that one last match, which transitioned into one more run. And, you know, people were critical of that at the time, and it was given to him on a silver platter. And then at the same time, you've got people like Kurt Angle returning, and you don't give him the return you want. There does feel like a double standard there. And you saw Kurt Angle on the Broken Skull sessions, really, when he said, that's what I wanted. I wanted a Goldberg run. And Kurt Angle could have done more. And he absolutely could have wrestled great matches. He could have had a world title run. You could have done something, but you didn't. Instead, you did it with Goldberg, and you had 30-second matches and 5-second matches. And, you know, even his match against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 33, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I thought that match was way better than I thought it could be. But I don't need to see it again. I don't need to see Goldberg in the ring again. And you go back and watch the WWE shows during the Monday Night Wars in 97, 98, 99. The amount of shots that WWE would take at WCW through Vince McMahon about this isn't the old-timer circuit, this isn't old people, this isn't people with false hips, this isn't people in their 50s wrestling. Fast forward 20 years, over 20 years, and you're bringing back people with false hips, you're bringing back people in their 50s, and but you're doing everything that WCW did. And I just laugh and I chuckle sometimes at the levels of hypocrisy when it comes to the booking sometimes of main eventers, or it comes back to the booking of part-timers. The era for part-timers, I think, has gone, because I do think that I understand the business part of it. I understand that he thinks bringing back Goldberg can boost ratings. I understand he thinks bringing back The Undertaker can boost ratings and all of this kind of stuff. But that era of part-timers, I think, is gone. Now, it's different when it comes to people like John Cena. It's different when it's people like The Rock. Even to maybe an extent Triple H, but I think that's, you know, it's the time's running out there, because these are guys that are close to their 50s. And it's not like John Cena, where he can come back and he can work a 30-minute match and he can still go. It's not like The Rock, he can come back, he can still go. These guys, like Goldberg, like The Undertaker, unfortunately, it's horrible to say, because I am a fan from the late 90s. I am a fan from them, and I did like Goldberg in the late 90s, and even in his run in WWE, his first run. But it's done. No one wants to see it. No one needs to see it. It's done, unfortunately. So, I don't know what the plan is here. If I had to pick one, to be honest, I'd rather him face Braun Strowman, because I'd rather have Roman Reigns doing something more substantial when it comes to WrestleMania Royal Rumble season. Whether that is against The Rock, whether it's even someone against Big E. I'd much rather have a WrestleMania main event of Big E versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, as opposed to Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. And I think many people would agree with me there. So, whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, it looks like we're going to be seeing Goldberg at some point inside of a WWE ring in 2021, probably twice, because that's what his contract states, unfortunately. But that's the way the cookie crumbles when it comes to Goldberg in WWE right now. But of course, as always, it's just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts on Goldberg potentially facing Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman at WrestleMania or Royal Rumble next year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'll be sure to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys on this channel. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button as well. It really does help us out here on YouTube. Go up the rankings and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to WrestleNews 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now. Or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video, along with another video for you to watch. I think we're like 6 subscribers at this point, 5, 6 subscribers away from 1,000. So if you haven't already, maybe you can be the 1,000 subscriber. Who knows? So bottom right hand corner, or wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. And I'll speak with you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.